Now, I'm very pleased to say that Diane Rasmussen-McCaddy has been able to join us. Diane, can you hear me?
Yes, Brian, it's great to be here. And it appears as though they're doing a fire alarm test in the library at the exact time that I'm on the air. So apologies for that. Yes, I just came from STV, the situation on the Fornethy case. I'm not sure if you'd like to say a little bit more about that, or if you'd like to show the video that I brought.
Diane, I think what we should do is I've got a little clip from the video that you kindly pointed us to. So let's have a listen to that. It's Mr. Swinney himself talking about the Fornethy case. Let's watch that, and then we'll bring you back on screen.
So all of those questions will be explored as part of the process of proper consideration of the issues that are raised by the Fornethy women.
So are you holding out some hope for them that they could be included?
But the Parliament legislated for a particular scheme, which has got eligibility criteria.
And as it stands, they say it excludes them. They've been at the Petitions Committee in the Parliament and they say that it excludes them.
These issues will be explored. We'll engage with the Petitions Committee. The Petitions Committee has put its points to the government and they will be considered.
So when Julie Robinson was there, she refused to do that. She said that there was no further consideration.
Well, we'll look at all of that evidence to see if there is
any... You will look again afresh?
Well, we're looking at that to determine whether there is any opportunity to pursue the issues that are raised by the individuals that are concerned. But what I would maintain is that Parliament has taken decisions already to establish a scheme on that basis, and that's what will be considered.
But can you give them any hope today as First Minister?
What I'm setting out is that we have an approach to redress which is being followed assiduously within the scheme. I am pleased that there are individuals who are being supported as a consequence of that scheme, and the government will of course engage with individuals who seek eligibility to that scheme.
I'll just say it's possible that the audio was a little bit low on that. What Mr. Swinney was saying, he was being challenged about, would the Fornethy ladies be allowed to take part in the Scottish redress system? He was saying there are a number of checks and balances, but essentially I was picking up that he was indicating that they would be able to come forward and to make application. But Diane, you've done the interview with Scottish TV this morning. What's your take on Mr. Swinney and what he was saying?
Well, I was there, Brian, with 4 of the Fornethy survivors who were interviewed as well, and they showed us that clip and then asked us for our reactions to the clip. The reaction from the women, first of all, is that they were angry. They felt like they were getting nowhere. Once again, I feel like even though John Swinney likes to take responsibility for setting up the criteria on the redress scheme when he was Deputy First Minister, he doesn't understand his own criteria. And I say that because the problem is that if you read the criteria, and this is part of the evidence that I had submitted in support of the petition from the Fornethy survivors to the government, is that it specifically excludes them because of phrases like short-term care, things like holiday home, things like respite facility. We know that holiday home, respite facility, convalescent are not accurate under the way it was set up under Glasgow Education Corporation, that it was a residential school. I have made that point over and over again. It wasn't like the parents dropped them off the holiday. So the key issue is whether or not they are considered in loco parentis in care of the state, which I was able to establish they are through the various acts and bills and legislation and structures that were in place at the time. But what John Swinney said back in January 2023, and I quote, I do not think that there is an inherent impediment to applications coming forward and being considered. To put it slightly more bluntly, I reject the idea that the scheme is not for Fornethy survivors. I think that it is possible for Fornethy survivors to be successful in applying under the scheme. So my concern is that he doesn't understand his own criteria, and he seems to be backpedaling just a bit from what he was saying back in January of 2023, Brian.
I'm very sad to hear that, Diane. I must say, when I listened to that clip this morning, I was thinking, this is an interesting statement. This may be a difficult question for you, but what about Scottish TV, a major media channel north of the border? Do they seem to understand the importance of getting the Fornethy women into the redress system?
They do. And I will say, first of all, that my allegiance is live with UK Colin, and I was only at STV because I was asked to be there. But Colin Mackay is the reporter who's been following it. But one of the problems that they've had in recent times is they have invited Scottish TV to cover the last couple of meetings that we've had with the Petitions Committee. However, the last minute, the reporters have pulled out saying there was no camera person available, or they can't make it, somebody's unwell. But Colin actually got them in today because this was his first interview with John Swinney as First Minister that he had last week. And he specifically asked about Fornethy because he's been following the case very carefully. I would say that Colin Mackay realizes that Shona Robinson's performance in the committee 2 months ago when we were there was terrible. And he felt like John Swinney's reply was slightly better. But I also don't see the strength that we saw in him when he was in Deputy First Minister. I'm wondering if the pressure's on him a bit now that he is the boss and he has to make a decision one way or the other what to do with potentially thousands of abused women that went to Fornethy.
Diane, very good point. We could just say, is he the boss? And are there other people behind the scenes who are powerful enough to pull strings on Mr. Swinney himself? Who knows? But we'll watch this with interest. I'm going to say thank you very much for the report. And of course, we will stay supporting the Fornethy women and doing everything we can. And I know that you're busy with more research into the archives. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will have you back again. Well, where does that take us? It takes us on to UK Column itself, and we say to our audience, if you're watching us wherever you are, UK or overseas, please do join us and support us and take out a monthly subscription, because we can only do what we do with your financial support, and we are very grateful to the people who support us on a monthly basis, because you've enabled us to be what we are. We would like to expand and cover more, as many people are asking us to cover more subjects. The information we put out is there to be shared. Please do mention UK Column when that material goes out. And we'll just say that if you haven't made a purchase from UK Column shop, go online and have a look at the shop to see whether there's something that attracts you. Because all of this helps us. Now, tomorrow at 1 p.m, we've got Alex Thompson's interview with Iurie Roșca. He was a Moldovan politician who served as Deputy Prime Minister of Moldova in 2009. And I'm sure this will be an extremely interesting interview with him and Alex Thompson. So tune in at 1 o'clock tomorrow for that. And the next one I can call on screen is a UK Column event, Sunday, May the 19th at 1 o'clock to 3 p.m. And that's from national security to biosecurity, global power dynamics and the erosion of freedom in the 21st century. And this is a symposium in honour of the late Graeme MacQueen, author of the 2001 Anthrax Deception, the Case for a Domestic Conspiracy. Oh my goodness, there's that word again. And we've got Madhava Sethi, MD, and Meryl Nass, MD, both of whom have made comments, common challenges facing freedom movements, observations from an engineer and anesthesiologist, if I pronounce that one correctly. That's Madhava Sethi, and biowarfare, biosecurity, and the WHO pandemic preparedness agenda is Meryl Nass. So do tune in to see that. Okay, well, where does that